An illegal immigrant truck driver made a terrible, illegal U-turn on Florida's Turnpike, and it resulted in 3 dead people. It's a very tragic situation, and it never should have happened. And he'll face the music in court for his mistakes. But blaming every other Indian Sikh trucker out there for this man's actions? That is totally wrong, and it needs to stop. Since that tragedy in Florida, there have been multiple reports of totally innocent Indian Sikh truck drivers being harassed, and to me, it simply doesn't make sense. If a red-headed or a bald-headed truck driver did the same thing, should every red-headed or bald-headed truck driver be harassed from that point on? If it were a woman that was driving that truck, made the illegal U-turn and caused the death of those 3 people, should every female truck driver be scrutinized and harassed? Of course not. It's always best to attack the behavior and not the person. In this case, the driver was an illegal immigrant that made a very stupid illegal decision that cost 3 lives. That doesn't necessarily make him a bad person, but it does bring into question his behavior and also the behavior of the officials who put this illegal driver behind the wheel of that big truck.
You are entirely correct, Jim. It's not constructive or logical in any way to attack, harass, or stereotype an entire segment of our country based on the actions of one individual truck driver. The U.S. Census does not ask about religion, making it hard to get an accurate count of Sikhs. However, estimates say there are about 750,000 living in the United States, with California and New York having the largest populations of American Sikhs. Currently, there are about 150,000 American Sikhs working in the U.S. trucking industry, and roughly 90% are drivers. That's about 135,000 Sikh drivers. And probably 99.9% of them are good, hardworking individuals that want nothing more than to do their job, pay their bills, and take care of their families. The real culprit in all this is the trucking company that hired this guy and the DOT officials in both Washington State and California that issued him a CDL, along with anyone else that let this happen.
The American Trucking Association says there are approximately 3.58 million truck drivers overall in the United States, and that includes categories such as over-the-road, oversize, regional, local, and box trucks. Using that denominator, Sikh drivers make up between 3 and 4% of all truck drivers. The Bureau of Labor Statistics count for heavy and tractor-trailer drivers alone is about 2 million. So using just the statistics for big truck drivers as a base, we see that Sikh drivers would be closer to 6% of the truck drivers out there. The exact share varies by definition, but the takeaway is simple. Sikh truck drivers make up a large portion of our workforce. Here's a chart for those curious about the number of male versus female truck drivers and also the education levels of truck drivers. Take note that 84% of all truck drivers have at least a high school diploma, and inside that number, 13.6% have a college degree or higher. To run interstate, federal regulations require truck drivers to read and speak English well enough to talk with the public, understand signs, answer officials, and do paperwork. Inspectors and carriers are expected to enforce that. First and foremost, it all goes back to the officials that are testing new drivers and handing out the CDLs. We just released a previous video on how 5 states, Louisiana, Florida, New York, Massachusetts, and Washington State, have recently come under investigation for employing individuals at their DMVs that were caught selling CDLs. Needless to say, the actions of these shady employees put a lot of unqualified drivers on America's highways and has probably caused a lot of death and destruction. Let's hope these lowlifes get the book thrown at them and they have plenty of time in prison to ponder their greedy actions. Trucking companies should also be held accountable. They interview the prospective new truck driver, and they also give them road tests before hiring them. The trucking company official that signs off on a new hire that obviously can't drive a big truck or can't speak English in a proficient manner needs held accountable as well.
Bottom line, Indian Sikhs remain one of the most targeted religious groups for hate crimes, in part because they are often misidentified as Muslim due to their religious belief in wearing the turban. What does it matter what a person wears on their head? A lot of truck drivers like to wear ball caps, like me or you, Jim. Some drivers like to wear bandanas. People of the Jewish faith wear a skull cap called a kippah or a yarmulke, which are synonymous terms for the brimless head covering worn by Jewish people as a sign of reverence and respect for God. The bottom line is the proper authorities in the DOT and trucking companies need to enforce the rule of law on the people who break it. What we need to do as a trucking community is to not smear a whole religion based solely on stereotyping.
After the Turnpike crash, AP reported Sikh truckers getting harassed or even removed from facilities, especially on the West Coast where the Sikh trucking community is big.
An NPR affiliate, WUSF, reported a Sikh man was kicked out of an Oklahoma truck stop when he tried to take a shower. Central Valley says some drivers reported hostility at truck stops. In one instance, a Sikh driver who called 911 for help during an altercation was instead ordered by police to leave the truck stop. CBS Miami also covered the spike in anti-Sikh rhetoric tied to this case. None of that is safety, it's harassment, period. Years back, I'm delivering TVs to PC Richard & Son in Farmingdale, New York, out on Long Island. One of my airlines snapped. I usually carried an extra one in my side box, but I forgot to get another the last time one snapped on me. Anyway, if you've ever been stuck out on the island with any kind of truck problem, you might as well set up camp. Then a driver, turban on, Punjabi accent, walks over and hands me a spare airline he keeps on his truck. No speech, no lecture, just help. Without him, I'd still be parked outside that dock.
A lot of people want to fixate on the turban. Personally, I really don't get it. What difference does it make what's on a driver's head? Whether that driver is wearing a ball cap, a bandana, kippah, or a yarmulke, it tells you zero about them as a person or their ability to drive a big truck. And believe it or not, what someone wears on their head won't tell you if they were born in the United States or not.
Quick primer. Sikhism started in the late 1400s in Punjab, which is located in southern India, with Guru Nanak, and there have been 9 successive gurus. The Sikh religion isn't all that different from Christianity. Their core beliefs are in one God, equality of all people, honest work, and service to others.
Sound familiar? Christians also confess to one God, teach love your neighbor, charity, and service. Different doctrines, sure, but a lot of overlap in monotheism, moral duty, and service. The values that make a good neighbor also make a good driver. I've seen people demanding the answer on their internet searches for how many crashes involved Sikh drivers. Here's a reality check. The DOT, FMCSA, and NHTSA do not track driver religion in crash files. Anyone you see in the media or on the internet tossing out BS Sikh crash numbers are playing a guessing game. Here is a newsflash. Instead of trying to cause dissension within the trucking community, the focus should be on enforcing illegal behaviors that we can measure, like speeding, illegal U-turns, hours of service, equipment issues, and English compliance.
That Indian driver I spoke of earlier that helped me out of a jam in Farmingdale, New York, he didn't see a white guy wearing a ball cap, and I didn't see a Punjabi guy wearing a turban. He saw a driver who needed help, and in turn, I was grateful that another trucker saved me from a bad situation.
We all bleed red, and we all have families. In the big picture, we've all got the same worries in life with regard to paying bills and taxes. We run the same road with pretty much the same freight. We are brothers and sisters in the same industry and need to stick together and help each other get home safely.
If you happen to see someone giving an Indian driver a hard time with no cause, see if you can diffuse the situation. Here is a novel idea. Expand your horizons by striking up a conversation with an Indian driver. I'll bet you will find out that he or she has a lot in common with you. Leave us a comment and tell us about it.
We are trying to grow this channel to help truck drivers along with educating the general public. You can help us out by smashing that like button and the notification bell. Remember to subscribe and share this with another driver. Protect your load, protect your rig, and protect yourself.
Leave us a comment below with your thoughts and ideas. If it's a good idea, we will share it with everyone. Subscribe for more trucking truth, and together we'll keep hammering this issue till somebody listens. Well, my friends, stay safe and stay loaded out there. Catch you on the rebound. Remember to keep that left door closed and your hands on the wheel.